Can you believe it? Summer's almost here, and that means vacation time. But let's face it, with prices skyrocketing and inflation hitting us hard, planning an affordable getaway seems like a mission impossible. Well, fear not. Today we've got a money guru from Schoolsfirst Federal Credit Union who's going to clue us in on how you can have a budget-friendly summer vacation. Let's give a warm welcome to Nathan Calhoun, their Madison Branch Manager. Hey, Nathan.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so I'm a little shocked because there's like a high increase in people wanting to go on vacation, but with inflation still happening, why do you think that's coming about?
Yeah, I learned that this is being called revenge travel. It has to do with during the pandemic, people were forced to stay home, not travel. So when things eased up last year in 2022, we saw a big surge in travel, and it appears like it's continuing in 2023.
Wow, and so summer's sneaking up on us, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who maybe haven't even planned their vacation yet, or they're like me, it's like, I know where I want to go, but I haven't taken the steps. What should they consider as they start their planning?
You know, when you're coming up with your budget for the vacation, it all starts with where you're going and how you're getting there. Certainly something to consider is the price of airfare also surged in 2022, coming up to, all-time highs. And they've come down a little bit in 2023, but still very high. So once it's determined where you're going, if a plane ride is involved, you're going to want to make sure that you look out for those fares, try to book as early as possible. Look out for the economy rates. Another thing to think about is bag fees. If you could pack light, you can save on some of those. If a plane ride isn't required, maybe you can drive there, take a road trip. I still have really fond memories when I was a kid, taking a road trip someplace. Another thing to consider is where you go and what time of the year you go. There's some peak travel times. During the summer tends to be the most popular time to take a vacation and travel. All the kids are out of school. But if you are flexible in your schedule and you can go right after the peak season, you can save yourself some money. The destination, think about the most popular destinations. They also tend to be the most expensive. We're here in Sacramento. You think about making a trip up to Lake Tahoe. Very popular place to go, very pretty, but also can be pricey. But an alternative, you think also here in California, the Mammoth Lakes, very beautiful. Cost you a fraction of the price that Lake Tahoe would.
Yeah, well, that's cool to know that just by making a few tweaks to the time and the location that we can save some money. Do you have any other vacation expenses that we can keep in check while we're doing this?
You think about all the things that you're pricing out and having to pay for throughout the vacation. I would just recommend you think about hotel accommodations ahead of time, what it's going to cost for those. You're going to want to get those booked up front. Make sure that you're paying for those out of your savings account as opposed to using your credit card. One of your least favorite souvenirs will certainly be, a credit card bill at the end of it, right?
Yeah, we don't want that souvenir.
No, absolutely.
So how can we be the king and queen of our vacation budgets? Give us your secret.
Well, like I mentioned before, the hotel fares and kind of having a strategy for how you're going to make your travel. Pay up the upfront costs. Avoid using your credit card. Also, there's a lot of these organizations where you have a membership at. You think about like AAA, AARP, Costco. They have these vacation packages out there that you can look into. Some great options out there to be able to get discounted resorts that you can go to, things of this nature.
Yeah, I always hear about the Costco vacation packages, so I do got to check that out.
Yeah, check that out.
Yeah. So how do we make sure we don't blow out our budget? Because it's easy when you're on vacation, you're buying the fancy dinners, the souvenirs. How can we keep it in check so we don't blow it out?
The thing to keep in mind is that even though you're on vacation, you're still going to want to keep track of what's happening in your bank account. You're going to be swiping the debit card a lot. There's going to be a lot of transactions that kind of just happen quick, depending on what you're doing. As you mentioned, the food, the souvenirs.
Yeah.
A lot of financial institutions, I'll say pretty much most of the larger ones, have a banking app that you can track all of your transactions, track it daily.
Yeah.
See how you're doing, see what your budget was, and if you're paying more for food than you thought you were, maybe scale back on the souvenirs. Vice versa, if you're buying more on souvenirs, then maybe scale back on the cost of food and the eating out that you have. I would just say that you're going to really want to focus on the fun, not the finances. So a lot of this just has to do with planning ahead of time.
All right.
And lastly, I would just mention that if you want any other tips, check out our website at schoolsfirstfcu.org.
Perfect. And they have so many locations. You can visit one of the many Schoolsfirst Federal Credit Union branch locations as seen on the screen. And like Nathan mentioned, you can find out more by going to schoolsfirstfcu.org. YCL will be right back.